Welcome to Coleman Report Live. I'm Bob Coleman. We're talking Main Street and the small business lenders who help it grow. Hey, thank you all for joining us. We know you're busy. Wow, big numbers for a Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lance, looking nice and I don't see a tan. Did you even go to Florida?
Plenty of sunscreen, Bob, trying to avoid the sunburn.
You did it, Naim. I'm glad you came back, rested, relaxed. Ton of information. Let's get to it. Number one, can you appeal a PPP forgiveness denial by SBA? And when we say you, we're talking the borrower, not the lender. Lance, they got it right. The key,
Yeah, they did.
I'll turn it over to you, Lance, but the key thing is when you're talking to your borrowers, there's only a 30-day window. And there's other stuff. You're dealing with SBA directly. You don't have to get involved. Just let them know. Get it done right away. Go ahead, Lance.
Well, one of the things that I've noticed that SBA has a lot of curiosity about, Bob, in PPP forgiveness is, was the loan amount correct to begin with? So some of the information that probably would be involved in, a denial appeal is probably going to be the documentation that justified your original loan amount. That appears to be just based on SBA reviews and lender additional information requested. It's kind of interesting. We're going through forgiveness, Bob, and it seems like a lot of the questions they're asking are related to justifying the original loan amount.
Yeah. And as you said, they're focusing upon SBA found why the reason that they're denying it was ineligible for the PPP loan and the amount received. So you need to go back and recalculate.
Well, and the other thing that I'm seeing a lot of, you'll get requests from SBA will ask for information. Maybe you have a borrower whose forgiveness application only had payroll, and it was more than enough to fully forgive the loan, and then SBA's coming back and asking for contributions to retirement accounts and contributions to health insurance, which seems like it wouldn't be necessary.
But they're not denying that. They're just asking for more information, right?
They're reviewing it to make a determination if the forgiveness amount needs to be adjusted. And the only reason they could ask for health insurance contributions and retirement contributions if the forgiveness app only had payroll, Bob, is trying to determine the original loan amount, if that was justified.
The denials that you have seen, Lance, have you seen
I have not seen a denial yet,
Bob.
Wow. But I am seeing quite a few requests for additional information to justify the loan amount. It's interesting because many of the requests are not centered around the forgiveness amount, but more so centered around trying to figure out if they got the right amount to begin with.
Just a couple of things that for lenders. Number one, tell your borrower they're on a 30-day clock. They got to get it done. And number two, it doesn't affect the payments. They're still expected to make while there's an appeal. So that doesn't stay that requirement. So that's really what you need to know on that.
And don't be disappointed if SBA asks for information you've already provided. Just smile and provide it.
Number two, have you used the SBA platform for a guaranteed purchase request for a PPP loan?
I'm not going to say a word, Bob, until I see the answers.
We have yes, 9%, no, 86%. Lance, I think what's interesting about this, and I'll say this is sort of the, whenever we have a poll, we have an error. And also the question was a little unclear, but we're referring to PPP loans. Go ahead, Lance.
Well, the question is, will you be able to use the SBA Forgiveness Platform for a guaranteed purchase request? And the answer is a resounding yes, you will. Sometime during the month of August, but I was in the forgiveness portal before the show. There's no option yet to submit for guaranteed purchase, but there will be. It's coming.
Yeah. So Yeah, so the answer is no, even though the notice says July 15th. Joseph, the administrator said, what did she say?
I'm not sure. I didn't see that quote. I'm sorry, but I know that the portal is open, but you can't click on anything yet. So
Yeah. She said August 15th as well.
Okay.
Hey, I want to go through, this is an interesting article, that even though PPP and RRF are done with the asterisk on a restaurant, that there is Delaney. I have a jar every time I say Katie. For Delaney, I have to put $1 in. Delaney's going to have a nice bonus at the end of her internship. Delaney reported that there may be a revitalization of the Restaurant Revitalization Fund. There's some movement in Congress, but I really don't see that happening. But I want to talk, Delaney, come in here. I want to talk about the other 5 programs that are available for a small business. What do we got? Or we'll let Joseph. Joseph, go ahead.
this is just the EIDL program. We all know about it. I was shocked to see that $28 billion remains for this grant program. I know we haven't reported on much of it, but it's a pretty high number. So it's still available, $10,000, and help your borrowers out with that. So
Let me ask you this, Joseph and Lance. If someone's received a PPP loan, are they eligible for an EIDL loan?
That's a trick question, Bob. It's a sneak attack. But my understanding, Bob, is they can. But I could be wrong. Of course, the EIDL program, we don't spend as much time keeping on top of it because it's a direct program from SBA. And I actually encouraged a customer to apply for the EIDL advance. I can talk about my experience with that, Bob. It was pretty frustrating, his application process. And I tried to help walk him through it by answering a few questions. But it is a program that can help a lot of small business, particularly in low-income areas. I don't know, Bob, if having a PPP loan affects getting this new EIDL money, but it didn't affect it in 2020 or so. I mean, I'm just making an assumption because
guys, we have a smart audience. Ann says borrowers can apply and receive both.
Yeah.
So they can do both EIDL and PPP.
Well, I didn't realize it had that much money in it, which tells me we should cover it a little bit more. Thanks for that response, Ann. And we'll cover that some more, because if that is true, then we should definitely be telling all our borrowers, hey.
Yeah, and if they're doing it in $10,000 segments, Bob, there's plenty of opportunity.
Yeah, and $10,000 sure means a lot to a lot of these Main Street businesses. So let's, Joseph, make a note. We'll follow up on that, and that's fine. Shuttered Venue Operators Grant Program, that's number 2. That's for movie theaters, live productions, etc. How much money's left in that one, Joseph?
Delaney's reporting $4 billion left. So quite a bit. I know this struggled to get off the ground, and it took a while, but they're making decisions, and the funds are going out. So
eligible applicants are able to apply for 45% of their gross revenues. I assume those are 2019 revenues, Lance, and not 2020 revenues.
That would be my guess, yes.
Yeah. So that's available. Community Navigator, we've just touched on it briefly. What is that program, Joseph?
This grant program is a $1 to $5 million loan out to eligible organizations, and it helps with counseling and networking and outreach for communities. So it's a marketing end of the SBA outreach programs, and Congress gave them a big chunk of money to go out and help small business. So.
Lance, is this funded through our friends over at the SBDCs or these pop-up?
No, but not that I'm aware of, Bob, and it looks like it's probably what they're saying, counseling, networking, and a connection to resources, sounds a lot like some of the mission of SBDC, but
that is the mission of an SBDC.
I think maybe the intent is to dive into communities where those services may not be readily available.
Okay, but that is obviously no money there, but that's a way, as it says, counseling and networking and can guide people through. So I have no issue with that. Rural innovation tomorrow. We have Thomas Kimsey of Thomas USAF talking about what's going on in rural America, but there is money set aside specifically for rural Main Street business, Joseph, correct?
Again, another program we love is the USDA Rural Development Program, and the USDA has many resources for rural America for populations under, it's at 50 or 25,000, but I'm not sure of that number. But check out their the new grant program is available, and Thomas is going to give us a nice update tomorrow. So
yeah, so we'll bring you up to date what's going on with rural. But that is there is money there. I'm not familiar with America Seed Fund. What is that?
Again, this is new to me as well. Let's see, 400, a very small program, and you can get up to $256,000 following on the funding of more than $1 million. So I need to do a little bit more research. I'm
Lance, do you know anything about this one?
I don't, Bob. These are some great new items that we need to be aware of to help our small business borrowers.
Right. Let's see. Barbara says, yes, borrowers can apply for both PPP and EIDL. Thank you very much. Raymond wants to know, has EIDL modification to $500,000 budget run out? There are emails going around claiming funds have run out. I don't know, but we'll follow up on that for you. And Rebecca says, it's my understanding borrowers can receive both, but not for the same purpose.
That's true. Yeah.
If PPP is for payroll and other allowed expenses, they would not apply for these expenses in the same period. Great, Rebecca. Thank you so much for that. So there we go. I think we just turned the show over to the audience. Let them, obviously we don't know what we're talking about. Other than we want to talk about that, hey, there are other things available that you should need to know about. Russell has a great question. Joseph, Lance, I'm not even going to try to tackle it. I'll let you two.
Well, when I look at this, Russell, the answer is yes, you can extend the term from 2 to 5 years, given an agreement between the participant lender and the PPP borrower. You'll need to go in and do the appropriate servicing in E-Tran, so it's correct in E-Tran, but you can. You don't have to, but you can. I mean, there's two options here. One would be keep them on a 2-year term, and then when they default, you'll have to submit for guaranteed purchase. But that also, if they have a first and a second round, it seems to me that the best option would be, if necessary, to extend the term to 5 years so they can pay both. And SBA is supportive of any servicing action that's needed for the borrower to be able to repay the loan.
Very good. Lance, you're doing a webinar on Wednesday, Unforgiven 2.0. What are you talking about?
Well, basically, Bob, we're going to revisit the forgiveness process with the new guidance information on charge-offs, guaranteed purchase, and the servicing requirements for you as a participant PPP lender. As I have worked in the forgiveness process and the servicing of PPP, it certainly has expanded my experience and knowledge level of how to deal with PPP loans, and just hoping to share that information with those who sign up. I would encourage you to be a part.
And the other big one we're doing is the following Wednesday on the 10:50. That is critical, and as we say, don't be a target. Let's complete that. Lance, just to recap, why is this topic so important today?
Well, it becomes critically important because improperly dispersed SBA loan can certainly be most typically it's reason for a repair, but it can be a reason for a denial on an SBA guarantee. So it's important for you to know how to accurately report. And a lot of lenders think you do the 1050 and stick it in the file and you're done, but on a multiple disbursement loan, there's more steps that you have to take. So
Yeah, we have.
encourage you to be a part of that as well.
On that, Joseph, did we?
We do. We do.
Oh, put that up.
It's.
Oh yeah, there was a poll question.
Yeah, I that was blame that on me. I went off script. Normally Lance is the one who does that.
That's me.
Must the form be forwarded to SBA when we fully disperse the loan? What do we do with that 1050 form? We submit it? Do we file it? Split vote. What do you say, Lance?
Well, the 1050, you're going to keep it in your file, and upon SBA's request, if there's a file review or guarantee purchase request, they're going to ask you to produce the 1050. But, typically the 1050 is executed when the loan is closed, but that's not the end of it. To have a properly documented 1050, if you have a guarantee purchase request, especially if you have a early default, there are steps you have to take, especially on a multiple disbursement loan, to make sure it's properly documented.
But we do not have to send it to SBA. If we sell the loan to the secondary market, do we send it to the secondary market?
Typically, no.
No. Yeah. So all of you should have a review process, and part of the process is the 1050. Have the reviewer look at that and make sure it matches two other items, the credit memo and the loan authorization, and all three of those have to match. And there's nothing wrong with changing disbursements, but the original underwriter needs to put a memo in the file and say, hey, we changed it, this and this and this, and I concur with that, and this is what the new use of proceeds look like, and you're golden, right, Lance?
Absolutely, Bob. And a lot of that depends on whether it's a if you're changing the use of proceeds on a GP loan, you're going to have to send it to the processing center for concurrence. If you're doing a delegated authority loan, you just memo the file. And
the SBA says the most common mistake is these things, it's just simple math. They don't add up. And it's pretty tough when you're trying to defend yourself on an early default when you present them with numbers that don't add up. And that's embarrassing. And the only thing you can do is mea culpa, and and you need to disclose it.
Repair. Yeah.
We're going to leave with this question from John. Can we refinance an unforgiven PPP loan with a 7A loan, Lance?
I'm going to answer no. And my reason, my reason for that is, can you refinance an SBA loan with another SBA loan? And typically the answer to that's no, unless it's on unreasonable terms, and an SBA loan is on reasonable terms. Well, or maybe there's a significant additional capital need. But my answer would be no at this point. Yes.
And my answer is, why would you want to do it? Because you have a 1% interest rate. There's no collateral, no personal guarantee. The only advantage would be to lower the payments.
Well, if you refinance the PPP, if you refinance it with a regular 7A loan, suddenly you would have a guarantee. You could ask for collateral, and it could be at a normal market interest rate. So,
right.
Yeah.
But the payments could be lowered. So.
Well, I don't see how the payments could possibly.
Well, that's the only reason. Yeah, John, the only reason that you possibly make an argument for that. And obviously this stuff that you're going to do GP. But I agree with you.
So the answer is no.
Yeah. Lance, good to see you.
Good to see you, Bob.
Good to see you.
Yeah. Welcome back,
Thank you for joining us today for Coleman Report Live and for supporting America's Main Street, one entrepreneur at a time.
Have a great day.